Ryan Cho's hands trembled as he stared at the woman across the counter. For 9 months, he'd felt nothing. Dead inside. Broken. But now, with her eyes on him, her voice washing over him like a prayer he'd forgotten how to say, his body remembered what it meant to be alive. And it terrified him. Because she was everything he shouldn't want. Everything his world would destroy. And he was going to fall anyway. This is a story about two people who saved each other in the most dangerous way possible. Ryan Cho walked the rain-slicked streets of Itaewon without direction, his Burberry coat doing nothing to warm the coldness that had settled in his bones. 9 months since the crash. 9 months since doctors used words like psychological trauma and nerve damage. 9 months since he'd felt like a man. At 33, he controlled half of Seoul's underground economy. Every gang boss knew his name. Every rival understood that crossing Ryan Cho meant disappearance. But the man walking these streets felt hollow, a ghost wearing expensive clothes and an even more expensive watch. His spine had healed. His legs worked. But the part of him that made him feel human had died on that operating table, and no amount of specialists or experimental treatments had brought it back. Then he saw it. Afric Elegance. The name glowed in gold script above a boutique window. Through the glass, he glimpsed fabrics that seemed to pulse with life. African prints merged with Korean tailoring in ways that shouldn't work, but did. Something pulled him toward the door. The scent hit first. Shea butter and jasmine with something warm underneath. Then her voice. Welcome to Afric Elegance. Everything here tells a story. The question is whether you're brave enough to wear one. Ryan turned and forgot how to breathe. She stood behind a wooden counter, her skin the rich brown of expensive whiskey, her hair in elegant locks that fell past her shoulders. She wore a dress that somehow married Ankara prints with Korean minimalism, the fabric moving like water when she shifted. But it was her eyes that stopped him. Intelligent. Fearless. Looking at him with curiosity instead of the fear he'd grown accustomed to. You look lost, she said, one eyebrow arching. Men in $1,000 suits usually know exactly where they're going. His throat felt tight. Maybe I needed to get lost to find the right place. Smooth. She smiled, and something in his chest cracked open. American tailored or Italian? Both. Of course you do. She moved from behind the counter, and Ryan's body betrayed him with a response he'd thought impossible. Heat flooded through him. His pulse quickened. His skin flushed. For the first time in 9 months, his body remembered desire. Panic and exhilaration crashed over him simultaneously. He turned abruptly toward a rack of jackets, using them to shield his reaction. That's hand-woven kent from Ghana, she said, moving closer. Too close. Her perfume invaded his senses. Combined with Korean silk. The designer studied in both Accra and Seoul. Like me. You made this. His voice came out rougher than intended. I curate beauty. Sometimes I create it. She pulled the jacket from the rack, holding it against his shoulders. Her fingers brushed his collarbone through his shirt, and electricity shot through his nervous system. Sometimes beauty finds me. The question is what you do when it does. Ryan met her eyes. She held his gaze without flinching, a small smile playing at her lips. I'm Melanie, she said. It means dark in Greek. My parents had a sense of humor. Ryan. Just Ryan? No last name. For now. Mysterious. She stepped back, studying him. I like mysterious. But I don't trust it. Mysterious men usually have complicated reasons for being mysterious. He needed to leave before he embarrassed himself completely. I'll think about the jacket. The jacket or the conversation? Both. Her laugh followed him onto the street. Come back when you're ready for honest answers, Ryan. I'm here most nights. I'm used to men who run from things. Ryan walked 3 blocks before stopping in an alley, leaning against brick, breathing hard. His heart hammered. His body hummed with sensation he'd thought lost forever. 9 months of nothing. 5 minutes with Melanie, and he felt violently, impossibly alive. He pulled out his phone with shaking hands. Taemin, I need information on a boutique in Itaewon called Afric Elegance. The owner is an African woman, late 20s, name is Melanie. Everything. Tonight. CTA number 1. If you're already hooked by Ryan and Melanie's story, hit that subscribe button now so you don't miss what happens next. Trust me, this is just the beginning. Ryan returned to his penthouse and paced like a caged animal. His body still thrummed with residual arousal, a feeling so foreign after months of numbness that he barely recognized it. He'd tried everything to fix himself. doctors in 3 countries, therapists, medications that left him nauseous and desperate, beautiful women who'd looked at him with pity when nothing happened. Nothing worked. 5 minutes with a stranger, and his body responded like he was 20 again. It made no sense. She wasn't the most beautiful woman he'd ever seen, though her beauty was striking. She wasn't overtly sexual, but something about her presence, her voice, the way she looked at him without calculation or fear, it bypassed every block. His phone buzzed. Taemin's report came through. Melanie Okonkwo, 29, Nigerian South African, moved to Seoul 4 years ago. Business degree from University of Cape Town, apprenticed under a designer in Paris before opening Afric Elegance 2 years ago. The boutique served Seoul's elite, mixing African designers with contemporary Korean fashion. Clean record. No criminal connections. No red flags. The report included photographs. Melanie laughing with a customer, her face lit with genuine joy. Ryan stared at it longer than necessary, feeling something stir in his chest that had nothing to do with physical desire. When was the last time he'd felt joy? When was the last time he'd laughed without bitterness coating the sound? He went to bed but didn't sleep. His mind replayed their encounter. Her voice, her scent, the brush of her fingers. His body responded again to the memory alone. By dawn, he'd made a decision. He would go back. Not because he needed a jacket, not because he wanted answers, but because for 5 minutes in that boutique, Ryan Cho had felt like a man instead of a ghost. 4 days later, he returned to Afric Elegance at dusk. This time, he came prepared. He'd rehearsed what to say, planned how to act casual, convinced himself he was in control. All of it dissolved the moment he walked through the door and saw Melanie arranging a window display. She turned, recognition lighting her features. The mysterious man returns. Did you bring answers? I brought curiosity. Even better. She stepped down from the display, wiping her hands on her flowing pants. Curiosity is honest. Answers can be lies we tell ourselves to feel better. You talk like a philosopher. I read like one. I sell clothes like a businesswoman. It's called range. She moved to the counter, pulling out a leather portfolio. I've been thinking about you, Ryan. Don't look alarmed. I think about all my potential clients. You have expensive taste, but it's safe. Predictable. You hide behind conventional elegance. Ryan felt exposed in a way that had nothing to do with clothing. Maybe I like conventional. Maybe you're afraid of standing out. I stand out plenty in my world. In your world, sure. But in life, you blend in. Expensive suit, expensive watch, expensive emptiness. I see a lot of that in Itaewon. She flipped open the portfolio. I have something that would look incredible on you. Not just expensive, incredible. She showed him designs that mixed Korean tailoring with African textiles, pieces that would make him unforgettable in any room. As she explained the craftsmanship, Ryan found himself mesmerized not by the clothes, but by her passion. She spoke about fashion the way he used to speak about building his empire, with vision, intelligence, hunger. You love this, he said. Of course I love it. Life's too short for work you hate. My mother spent 30 years doing work she hated, and it killed her slowly. I promised myself I'd never make that mistake. Melanie looked at him directly. What do you love, Ryan? The question hung between them. What did Ryan Cho love? He'd spent 15 years building an empire, crushing rivals, accumulating power. He'd loved the game once, the strategy, the victory. But somewhere along the way, it became mechanical. Then the accident happened, and even the mechanism broke. I'm still figuring that out, he admitted. Well, while you figure it out, let me make you something beautiful. She pulled out measuring tape. Arms up, Ryan hesitated. Having her that close, touching him professionally while his body responded unprofessionally, felt dangerous. But he raised his arms. She moved around him with practiced efficiency, calling out measurements. Each touch sent sparks through his nervous system. His breathing deepened. His pulse accelerated. You're tense, she observed, wrapping the tape around his chest. Relax. I don't bite. Maybe that's the problem. The words escaped before he could stop them. Melanie's hands paused for a heartbeat, then continued, flirting with the boutique owner. Bold strategy. I don't have strategies anymore. Just impulses. Impulses are dangerous. I'm a dangerous man. She stepped back, meeting his eyes. I know. The admission shocked him. You know who I am? I've lived in Seoul for 4 years. I own a business in Itaewon. Of course I know who you are, Ryan. I knew the moment you walked through my door. She began rolling up her measuring tape, movements calm. What I don't know is why you're here. I need clothes. You have clothes. Try again. Ryan struggled with the truth. How could he explain that her voice awakened something in him? That her presence made him feel whole? That for 9 months he'd been broken, and she somehow fixed him without trying? You make me feel alive, he said finally, the words raw and unplanned. Melanie set down the measuring tape. Her expression shifted, guards rising. That's not a good reason to be here. Why not? Because I'm not a fix for whatever's broken inside you. I'm not medicine. I'm not therapy. I'm a woman running a business. And the last thing I need is Soul's most dangerous man using me to feel something. It's not like that. Then what's it like? She crossed her arms. Explain it to me. Why does a crime boss keep coming to a boutique alone, looking at me like I'm air and he's drowning? The truth crashed over him. She felt it too. The connection. The pull. She was just smart enough to be afraid of it. I can't explain it, he admitted. I just know I've spent months feeling nothing. Then I heard your voice, and everything came back. The world had color again. I could breathe again. That terrifies me. It should terrify you. It terrifies me too. She turned away, busying herself with fabric swatches. I have a rule, Ryan. No dangerous men. No criminals. No one who could get me killed by association. I learned that lesson the hard way. What happened? My ex-boyfriend in Johannesburg. Charming, exciting, always living on the edge. Then I discovered the edge was drug trafficking and gang violence. One night, his enemies came to my apartment. They put a gun to my head and told me to deliver a message. I was 25 years old, crying on my bathroom floor, realizing I'd almost died for someone else's choices. Her voice remained steady, but her hands shook slightly. I swore I'd never do that again. Never fall for danger. Never mistake excitement for love. Ryan moved closer. I'm not asking you to fall for anything. I'm just asking you to let me be here, in this space where I can feel human. That's more dangerous than falling because it's honest. She turned back to him, eyes bright with unshed tears. You scare me, Ryan. Every instinct says run. Every warning sign says I could lose myself completely. Would that be so bad? Yes, because when you leave, and men like you always leave, I'll be the one picking up the pieces again. They stood in charged silence, the boutique's ambient lighting casting shadows across carefully curated displays. Outside, Soul hummed with evening activity. Inside, 2 people circled around a truth too frightening to speak. I should finish these measurements another day, Melanie said finally. When I'm more professional. When you're less. Less what? She gave a forced smile. Less everything. You're too much, Ryan. Too intense, too honest, too broken. I can't fix you. I'm not asking you to fix me. I'm just asking you to exist near me. He moved toward the door, then paused. For what it's worth, I'm scared too. I haven't felt anything real in so long. I forgot what fear tastes like. Now I remember. It tastes like your perfume and sounds like your laugh and looks like the way you measure me, like I'm just a man instead of a monster. He left before she could respond. CTA number 2. The tension is building, right? Don't let this be the last story you watch from me. Hit that like button if you're feeling the chemistry between Ryan and Melanie, and drop a comment telling me what you think happens next. Over the next 3 weeks, Ryan returned to Afric Elegance 8 times. He invented reasons, needing accessories, wanting shirt recommendations, asking about fabric care. Melanie saw through every excuse but allowed it. Their conversations deepened. He learned she loved Fela Kuti and Korean indie rock, early morning coffee, and late-night philosophy. She discovered he read poetry but told no one, that he'd wanted to be an architect before his father's death forced him into the family business. They discussed Soul's contradictions, the weight of reputation, the cost of ambition. Each visit, the chemistry intensified. Casual touches lingered. Eye contact held too long. Conversations carried subtext heavy enough to crush them both. But Melanie maintained careful distance, and Ryan respected it even as frustration built inside him. His men noticed the change. Taemin commented that the boss seemed lighter, more engaged. Ryan attended organization meetings with renewed focus. He handled a territorial dispute in Gangnam with his old strategic brilliance. Seoul's underworld whispered that Ryan Cho was back. But Marcus Kim's crew in Yongsan still tested boundaries. They hit one of Ryan's clubs, sent threatening messages, spread rumors about his weakness. Then someone left a note on Afric Elegance door. Watch the company you keep. Foreign women should know their place. Melanie found it opening the boutique on a Tuesday morning. Her hands shook as she pulled the paper from the door, reading the message 3 times before calling Ryan. What does this mean? Her voice carried barely controlled panic. Ryan arrived within minutes, studying the note with cold fury. It means someone's watching you. Someone knows you're important to me. Important? We barely know each other. We know enough. He pulled out his phone, texting Taemin to increase surveillance. This is Marcus's style. Indirect threats, testing boundaries. He wants to see if protecting you makes me vulnerable. Protecting me? Ryan, I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask to be a target in your world. You became a target the moment I walked through your door. That's my fault, but I won't let anyone hurt you. Melanie laughed bitterly. This is exactly what I was afraid of. I make one exception, let one dangerous man into my life, and suddenly I'm getting threatening notes. This is Johannesburg all over again. This is nothing like Johannesburg. I'm nothing like your ex. Really? Because from where I'm standing, it looks identical. Danger, threats, me in the middle of something I didn't choose. Ryan stepped closer. The difference is I'd burn this city down before I let anyone hurt you. Your ex put you in danger through carelessness. I'll protect you with everything I have. That's not reassuring. That's terrifying. She backed away, wrapping her arms around herself. Maybe you should stop coming here. For both our sakes. Is that what you want? What I want doesn't matter. What's safe matters. Safety is an illusion, especially in Seoul. Especially for someone who knows me. He moved closer, his presence overwhelming in the boutique's intimate space. But I'll give you a choice. I can disappear from your life. My men will still watch the boutique, ensure your safety, but you'll never see me again. Or I can stay, and we face whatever comes together. That's not a fair choice. Life isn't fair, but it's honest. Melanie met his eyes, seeing the same fear reflected that she felt. They were both terrified of this connection. Both knew it was dangerous. But danger had a seductive quality, especially when wrapped in vulnerability and truth. I need time to think, she said. Ryan nodded and left without another word. For 4 days, he stayed away. The hardest 4 days since the accident. He threw himself into work, handling disputes, consolidating power. But every quiet moment, his thoughts returned to Melanie. Her laugh, her scent, the way she looked at him without pretense. His body's response to her memories remained strong, a constant reminder that she'd awakened something permanent. On the 5th day, Taemin entered his office with concerning news. Boss, we have a problem. Marcus's crew hit another property. They're getting bold. Where? Itaewon. 3 blocks from that boutique you've been visiting. Ryan's blood ran cold. When? Last night around midnight. They didn't touch Afric Elegance, but the message was clear. They know about the woman. Double security around the boutique. And I want Marcus's location tonight. Boss, maybe this is the opening you need. Show strength. Remind everyone why they fear you. That's exactly what I intend to do. CTA number 3. Things are about to get intense. If you're invested in Ryan and Melanie's story, make sure you're subscribed because you won't want to miss how this unfolds. Comment below if you think Ryan should go to war for Melanie. That evening, Ryan walked into Afric Elegance at closing time. Melanie was organizing displays, her movements tense. She looked up when the door chimed, relief and anxiety crossing her face simultaneously. I heard about the club 3 blocks away, she said without preamble. Your men have been watching the boutique. I see them. Good. That means they're doing their job. I don't want to live like this, Ryan. Looking over my shoulder, wondering if every customer is a threat. Then come with me. The words surprised them both. Come with you where? Away from here. I have properties outside Seoul. Safe places. You could stay there until this resolves. Melanie laughed without humor. Run away? Hide. That's your solution? That's me protecting you. I didn't ask for protection. I asked for honesty, for space, for time to figure out if what I feel is real or just adrenaline and fear mixed with attraction. What do you feel? Ryan moved closer, drawn by the magnetic pull that never diminished. I feel like I'm falling off a cliff and you're the rocks below. Her voice broke. Inevitable, destructive, exactly where I'll land despite every attempt to steer away. I feel like you see parts of me no one else sees. Like your brokenness recognizes my brokenness. Like we could heal each other or destroy each other, and I can't tell which is more likely. Melanie. I'm not finished. I feel like every moment with you is borrowed time. Like the universe is laughing at us for thinking we could have something normal. Like loving you would be the bravest and stupidest thing I could do. Tears streamed down her face. And I'm tired of being brave. I'm tired of being stupid. I just want to be safe. Ryan closed the distance between them, cupping her face gently. Safe is overrated. Safe is lonely. Safe is what I've been for 9 months, and it nearly killed me. What are you saying? I'm saying I can't promise you safety. I can't promise this won't be complicated or dangerous or messy, but I can promise you won't face it alone. I can promise that every threat that comes for you comes through me first. And I can promise that you make me feel alive in ways I forgot existed. That's not enough. Then tell me what is enough. Tell me what you need, and I'll find a way to give it to you. She pulled away, pacing the boutique's length. I need you to be honest about the danger. All of it. Not protective vagueness. Real details. What am I risking by letting you stay in my life? Ryan took a breath. Marcus's crew wants territory I control. They're using you to test my commitment. If I protect you, some will see weakness. If I abandon you, I lose respect in different ways. Either way, they win unless I eliminate the threat completely. Eliminate how? You don't want those details. Yes, I do. If I'm risking my life, I deserve to know exactly how you operate. He studied her face, seeing the steel beneath the fear. She wasn't running. She was demanding truth. I'll handle Marcus and his lieutenants directly. Send a message that touching my interests brings severe consequences. It will be violent. People will be hurt. Some may die. That's the reality of my world. Melanie absorbed this, her expression unreadable. And if they retaliate, they won't have the capacity. I'll dismantle their organization from the inside. It's what I do. You say that so casually. In my world, violence and business are the same thing. She nodded slowly. Okay, I appreciate the honesty. Does that change things between us? I don't know yet. Ask me after I sleep on it. If I can sleep knowing what you just told me. Ryan moved toward the door, then paused. For what it's worth, I've never been this honest with anyone, including myself. You demand truth in ways that terrify me, but I'd rather be terrified with you than numb without you. He left before she could respond. That night, Ryan gathered his most trusted lieutenants in a private room above a restaurant he owned. Taemin, Ji-hoon, and 3 others who'd been with him since the beginning. Marcus is getting bold, Ryan said without preamble. He's testing boundaries, hitting our properties, threatening our interests. It ends now. Ji-hoon, his oldest friend in the organization, leaned forward. We've been waiting for your word, boss. What's the play? Complete dismantling. I want his distribution networks cut off. His protection rackets absorbed. His lieutenants turned or eliminated. Marcus himself needs to disappear in a way that sends a message. Testing Ryan Cho brings consequences worse than death. Taemin pulled up surveillance photos on his tablet. Marcus meets his crew every Friday at a warehouse in Yongsan. Light security because he thinks he's untouchable. He's wrong. Ryan studied the photos. How many men? Usually 7 to 9, all armed. Then we go with 15. Overwhelming force. No survivors among the lieutenants. Marcus, I want him alive initially. He needs to understand his mistake before he disappears. Ji-hoon whistled low. That's a strong play, boss. I need everyone to understand that my protection extends to specific interests. Anyone who threatens those interests threatens me directly. Are we clear? The men nodded, understanding the unspoken message. Melanie was under Ryan's protection, and touching her meant death. One more thing, Ryan continued. After we handle Marcus, I want surveillance on all rival crews doubled. We're not playing defense anymore. We're reminding Seoul why they fear us. You sound like the old you, boss, Ji-hoon said with a grin. Whatever brought you back, I'm grateful. Ryan didn't respond. He couldn't explain that what brought him back was a woman with an accent that felt like home and eyes that saw through carefully constructed walls. The next evening, Melanie called him. I've made a decision. Ryan's hand tightened on his phone. Tell me. I'm not running. I'm not hiding. But I need boundaries. You can come to the boutique. We can talk. We can explore whatever this is between us. But you have to keep your world and my world separate. No violence near Afric elegance. No using me as bait or strategy. I'm not a chess piece. Understood. I'm serious, Ryan. The moment I become a tool in your games, this ends. I don't care how much chemistry we have. I won't be used. You're not a tool. You're the reason I'm still breathing. Silence stretched between them. Come by tomorrow. Melanie's voice came softer. Late. After I close. We'll talk more. I'll be there. Friday night arrived with the weight of inevitability. Ryan's men moved into position around Marcus's warehouse with military precision. Ryan himself waited in an SUV 2 blocks away, listening to radio chatter as his team confirmed positions. All units ready, boss, Taemin said from the passenger seat. On your word. Ryan checked his watch. 2,200 hours. Marcus and his lieutenants would be settling into their weekly meeting, drinking expensive liquor, celebrating their recent victories. They thought they were winning. They were about to learn they'd barely survived Ryan's patience. Execute. The operation lasted 11 minutes. Overwhelming force combined with strategic precision. By the time emergency services received anonymous calls about gunfire in Yongsan, Ryan's men had vanished. Marcus's lieutenants lay dead in the warehouse. Marcus himself was in a van heading toward an undisclosed location, bleeding but alive. Ryan met him in a basement 3 hours later. Marcus's earlier arrogance had dissolved into fear. Blood matted his hair. His expensive suit was ruined. He knew what came next. You made a mistake, Ryan said, his voice eerily calm. You touched something that belongs to me. The boutique? She's just a woman. The punch came fast, breaking Marcus's nose. She's not just anything. She's under my protection. You threatened her to test my commitment. Now you understand the test results. Marcus spat blood. You've gone soft, Cho. Everyone sees it. The accident changed you. You're right. The accident changed me. It showed me what matters. And what matters is worth protecting with overwhelming violence. Consider this a lesson to everyone watching. My protection is absolute. Testing it brings consequences. Ryan nodded to Taemin, then left the basement. He didn't watch what happened next. Some things didn't require his direct participation. The message would spread through Seoul's underworld by morning. Ryan Cho was back, and he was more dangerous than ever. CTA number 4. We're in the thick of it now. If this story has you on the edge of your seat, show some love by hitting that like button and subscribing. Drop a comment telling me what you think of Ryan's move. Was it too much, or exactly what needed to happen? But as his car navigated Seoul's midnight streets toward Itaewon, toward a boutique where a woman waited, Ryan felt no satisfaction from the violence. Just relief that the immediate threat was neutralized. An anticipation of seeing Melanie again. She was waiting inside Afric Elegance, the boutique closed and lights dimmed. When Ryan entered, she studied him with knowing eyes. You took care of it. Not a question. I took care of it. Should I ask questions? You shouldn't, but you can. She moved closer, stopping just out of reach. I heard sirens earlier. Police activity in Yongsan. Connected? Probably. People died. Yes. Because of me? Ryan stepped forward, closing the distance. Because of choices Marcus made. You didn't create this situation. You didn't ask for protection, but you have it anyway because I care about you. The violence isn't your fault. It's the cost of my world. Melanie's hand shook slightly. I don't know how to feel about that. Horrified? Grateful? Guilty? Feel however you need to feel. Just don't feel alone. She laughed, a broken sound. That's the problem. I don't feel alone. For the first time in years, I feel connected to someone. And that connection comes with bodies and blood and consequences I can't control. It's not fair. Nothing about us is fair. He reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away. When she didn't, he cupped her face gently. But it's real. More real than anything I've felt in years. Your hands are clean, she observed. No blood. I'm careful. That's not what I meant. I meant you've arranged your world so you can come to me without physical evidence. Like you're trying to keep two versions of yourself separate. The monster and the man. Aren't you trying to do the same thing? Keep the woman who runs a boutique separate from the woman who cares about a criminal? Melanie pulled away, walking to the window overlooking the street. I've been thinking about that. About compartmentalizing. About trying to love part of someone while ignoring other parts. It doesn't work. I learned that in Johannesburg. What are you saying? I'm saying if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to let you into my life, I need to accept all of you. The violence, the danger, the empire built on fear. I can't cherry-pick the parts one like and pretend the rest doesn't exist. Ryan moved behind her, close enough to feel her warmth. That's asking a lot of yourself. You asked me what I needed to feel safe. The answer isn't safety, it's honesty. Complete honesty. If I'm going to risk my life for you, I need to know exactly who I'm risking it for. She turned, their faces inches apart. How many people have you killed? Directly? 5. Indirectly through orders? I stopped counting at 60. Do you feel guilty? Sometimes. Depends on who they were and why they died. What about tonight? Tonight, I feel relief. The threat is neutralized. You're safer. That's all that matters to me right now. Melanie searched his face, looking for deception, finding only raw truth. Do you love me? The question hung between them, heavy with implications. Ryan knew the right answer would be deflection or caution, but she'd asked for honesty. I don't know if I remember how to love, he admitted. I've spent 15 years building walls around everything soft inside me. Then you walked into my life, or I walked into yours, and those walls started crumbling. What I feel terrifies me because it's vulnerable. It's need. It's dependence. It's everything I've avoided because those things make you weak in my world. That's not an answer. The answer is I'm falling. I don't know if it's love yet, but it's falling, fast and irreversible. And I've never felt this vulnerable with anyone. So maybe that's what love is. Voluntary vulnerability with someone who could destroy you. Melanie's eyes glistened. I'm falling too, which is stupid because I know better. I know how this story ends. The dangerous man and the woman who thought she could save him. It never ends well. I'm not asking you to save me. Then what are you asking? I'm asking you to fall with me. Not to fix me or save me. Just to be present while we figure out what this is. She reached up, her fingers tracing the line of his jaw. You realize how insane this is? We've known each other for 4 weeks. Time doesn't matter when you're drowning. You don't count the seconds. You just know you need air. And I'm your air. You're everything. Air, water, ground beneath my feet. For 9 months, I floated without purpose. Now I have a reason to be present in my life instead of just existing in it. Melanie pulled him closer, their foreheads touching. Promise me something. Anything. Promise me when this falls apart. And it probably will. You'll let me go. You won't drag me deeper into your world. You won't make me a prisoner of your protection. You'll just let me walk away. I can't promise that. Why not? Because if you walk away, I don't know if I survive it. I barely survived 9 months of numbness. Losing you after feeling this alive. That might actually kill me. That's not fair to put on me. Nothing about us is fair. But it's true. She kissed him then, sudden and desperate. Her lips tasted like tears and courage. Ryan responded with months of pent-up hunger, his hands tangling in her locks, pulling her closer. The kiss deepened, became consuming. All the tension and fear and desire that had built over weeks exploded in that moment. When they broke apart, both breathless, Melanie laughed shakily. Well, that was everything. I was going to say terrifying, but everything works too. Ryan rested his forehead against hers, trying to steady his breathing. His body hummed with arousal, the response he'd thought lost forever, now overwhelming in its intensity. I should probably leave before I do something we're not ready for. Who says we're not ready? You're emotional. Scared. This isn't the right time. There's never going to be a right time with us. Every moment is stolen. Every moment is dangerous. If we wait for perfect circumstances, we'll wait forever. She kissed him again, softer this time. Stay? Not for sex. Just stay. I don't want to be alone tonight. They moved to the small office in the back of the boutique where Melanie kept a couch for late nights working. She pulled out blankets, creating a makeshift bed. They lay together, her head on his chest, his arms around her. Not speaking, just breathing, just being present. I can feel your heartbeat, she whispered. It's fast. You make me nervous. Good. You should be nervous. I'm probably going to break your heart. Then we'll be even because I'm definitely going to break yours. She laughed, the sound vibrating against his chest. What a pair we make. 2 broken people promising to break each other further. Or maybe 2 broken people figuring out how to heal together. That's optimistic. I've been pessimistic for 9 months. I'm trying something new. They fell asleep like that, wrapped around each other, protected by locked doors and Ryan's men watching from shadows outside. For one night, the world's complications dissolved. For one night, they were just 2 people finding comfort in connection. Morning arrived too quickly. Melanie woke first, studying Ryan's face in early light. Asleep, he looked younger, vulnerable. The hard edges softened. She traced her fingers along his jawline, marveling at how quickly he'd become essential to her. His eyes opened, focusing on her immediately. Good morning. Good morning. You snore. I do not. You absolutely do. Light snoring. It's cute. Cute. He repeated with mock horror. I'm a crime boss. I'm not cute. You're cute when you sleep. The rest of the time, you're terrifying. I can multitask. She sat up, stretching. I need to open the boutique in an hour. You should probably leave before customers start arriving. Bad for business if Seoul's most dangerous man is emerging from my office. Ryan sat up, pulling her back against him. Or it could be good for business. People love scandal. People love staying alive more. Your presence puts a target on this place. My men are outside. The target is already here. Has been since the first day I walked in. She turned in his arms, her expression serious. I need normalcy, Ryan. As much as possible. Can you give me that? Come here sometimes, but let me run my business. Let me have parts of my life that aren't consumed by your world. I can try. That's all I'm asking. Try. Over the next 3 weeks, they found a rhythm. Ryan visited Afric Elegance 4 or 5 times per week, always in evening hours, always careful not to disrupt Melanie's business. They talked about everything. Her childhood in Lagos and Cape Town. His early years building the organization. Philosophy, art, music. They argued about Korean cinema and African literature. They laughed at stupid jokes and shared comfortable silences. The physical attraction remained intense, but they moved slowly, both aware that crossing that final line would change everything. Kisses became longer, touches more intimate, but they maintained boundaries by unspoken agreement. Seoul's underworld noticed Marcus's disappearance. Rumors spread. Some said he fled to Japan. Others claimed he was in hiding. A few whispered the truth. Ryan Cho had eliminated him completely. Rival crews pulled back, reassessing positions. No one wanted to test the message Marcus's death delivered. Ryan's power consolidated. His organization operated more efficiently than in years. He attended meetings with focus he'd lost after the accident. But Ji-hoon knew better. Over drinks in a private room, he confronted Ryan directly. It's the woman, isn't it? The one from the boutique. Ryan didn't deny it. She's important to me. Important enough to start a war over. I already fought that war. Marcus lost. Marcus was small time. What happens when someone bigger notices your vulnerability? She's not a weakness. Boss, with respect, everyone knows. You disappear for hours. You go alone without security. You've changed. Some say it's good. You're focused again. Others say you're distracted. Either way, she's a vulnerability. Ryan set down his drink, his voice dropping to dangerous quiet. Are you questioning my judgment? I'm protecting my friend. The man I followed for 15 years. I don't want to see him hurt because of a woman. What I feel for her isn't weakness. It's the opposite. For 9 months after the accident, I was hollow, going through motions, ready to let this empire collapse because I didn't care anymore. She gave me a reason to care, to fight, to rebuild. If that's weakness, then weakness makes me stronger. Ji-hoon absorbed this. You love her. I'm learning how. Does she know about the accident? About why you were struggling? Ryan shook his head. She knows I was broken. She doesn't need to know the specifics. Maybe she does. Maybe she deserves to understand what she healed in you. That's not a conversation I know how to have. Then learn. If she's as important as you say, she deserves your complete honesty, not just the convenient parts. The conversation haunted Ryan for days. Ji-hoon was right. Melanie had demanded honesty, and he'd given her truth about his violence, his empire, his crimes. But he hadn't told her about the impotence, the shame, the 9 months of feeling less than human. That vulnerability felt too raw, too humiliating. But she'd shared her trauma from Johannesburg, her fear of dangerous men, her history of being threatened. If he wanted real intimacy, he needed to offer the same vulnerability. He went to Afric Elegance on a quiet Tuesday evening, finding Melanie organizing inventory in the back. She looked up, smiling, then reading his expression. What's wrong? I need to tell you something about the accident. About why I was really broken. She set down her tablet. Okay. They sat on the couch where they'd spent that first night together. Ryan struggled to find words, his hands clenched into fists. Melanie waited patiently, not pushing. The car accident 9 months ago, he began. Physically, I healed fine. No permanent damage to my spine or legs. But there were other complications. Psychological complications that manifested physically. You don't have to. Yes, I do. You deserve to know. He took a breath. After the accident, I couldn't. I lost the ability to perform sexually. Complete impotence. Doctors said it was psychological trauma manifesting physically. They tried medications, therapy, everything. Nothing worked. For 9 months, I felt like less than a man. Like the accident took something essential from me. Melanie's expression remained neutral, processing. And then, she prompted gently. And then I walked into your boutique. I heard your voice, and for the first time in 9 months, my body responded. Completely. Overwhelmingly. It terrified me because I couldn't understand how one stranger could accomplish what 9 months of medical treatment couldn't. That's why you kept coming back. Partly, at first, yes. I needed to understand what you did to me. But then I kept coming back because of who you are. Because you make me feel human instead of monstrous. Because your presence heals something deeper than physical impotence. She reached for his hand. Thank you for telling me. That's incredibly vulnerable. I'm embarrassed. Why? Bodies react to trauma in complex ways. You have nothing to be embarrassed about. I'm Ryan Cho. I'm not supposed to be vulnerable. I'm not supposed to need anyone. Everyone needs someone. Being strong doesn't mean being invulnerable. It means being honest about your vulnerabilities. She squeezed his hand. Does it still work? With me, I mean. He laughed despite himself. Yes. Frustratingly well. Sometimes inconveniently well. Good. Then we can stop talking about it and focus on other things. She kissed him softly. I'm honored you trusted me with that truth. It changes nothing about how I see you. Except maybe makes me understand better why you looked so panicked that first day. I was mortified. You hit it well. Very stoic. Very crime boss. I'm glad I amuse you. You do more than amuse me. You terrify me, challenge me, make me reconsider everything I thought I knew about safety and risk. But you also make me feel seen in ways I haven't felt since leaving South Africa. Like you understand the exile of rebuilding yourself in a foreign place. Is that what we're doing? Rebuilding ourselves? Maybe. Or maybe we're building something new entirely. Something neither of us expected. They sat in comfortable silence, fingers intertwined. Outside, Seoul hummed with evening activity. Inside, two people continued mapping the territory between fear and intimacy. CTA number 5, final. If you've made it this far, you're part of Ryan and Melanie's journey now. Don't let this be the end. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, and drop a comment telling me what you loved most about this story. Your support means everything, and there are more stories like this waiting for you. See you in the next one. 2 months later, Ryan stood in Afric elegance after closing, watching Melanie arrange new inventory. She moved with familiar grace, humming along to Burna Boy playing through boutique speakers. The scene was domestic, ordinary, everything he'd never thought he'd want. But it was everything. You're staring, she said without turning. I like watching you work. That's creepy. It's romantic. It's both. She turned, smiling. Are you going to help or just supervise? I'm providing moral support. Useless. But she said it with affection. Ryan moved to help anyway, carefully lifting boxes. They worked in comfortable silence, the kind of quiet that came from genuine partnership. His phone buzzed. Came in with an update about organization business. Routine matters. Nothing urgent. Ryan responded briefly, then pocketed the phone. Everything okay? Melanie asked. Everything's fine. Just work. Your work is less terrifying now. I appreciate that. My work hasn't changed. I've just gotten better at keeping it separate. No, it's changed. You've changed. You smile more. You're less hollow. That's your doing. That's our doing. I helped. You did the actual work. They finished organizing inventory, then stood together at the window, watching Seoul shimmer with neon and possibility. Do you ever regret it? Ryan asked quietly. Letting me into your life? Accepting all the complications? Every day, Melanie admitted. And then you do something that reminds me why I stayed. Like negotiate peace agreements because I asked. Or rest when you're injured because I insisted. Or look at me like I'm the only thing keeping you tethered to Earth. And I remember that some complications are worth it. I still can't believe you said yes. To what? To all of it. To me. To danger. To love. I didn't say yes immediately. I fought it hard. You just fought harder. I'm persistent. You're annoying. He pulled her against him, breathing in her familiar scent. Thank you. For what? For seeing me when I was invisible. For believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. For making me feel alive again. You're getting sentimental. Is this a fever? Should I check your temperature? I'm serious. I know. That's what's scary. She pulled back enough to see his face. You saved me too, you know? From safe, controlled loneliness. From building walls so high nothing could reach me. You demolished everything I built to protect myself. And somehow that was exactly what I needed. We're disasters. Perfect disasters. You said there's no such thing. I changed my mind. We're the exception. They stood together as evening deepened, soul's chaos continuing beyond their small sanctuary. Two broken people who had found wholeness in each other. Two disasters who'd created something beautiful from destruction. Later that night, as Ryan prepared to leave, Melanie stopped him. Stay, she said simply. At my apartment above the boutique. Stay the night properly. No emergencies, no injuries. Just stay. It was a threshold they hadn't fully crossed. Moments, yes. Intimacy, certainly. But not the vulnerability of waking up together without crisis as catalyst. Are you sure? He asked. I've never been less sure or more certain about anything simultaneously. But yes. Stay. They climbed stairs to her apartment, a space Ryan had never fully seen. It reflected her perfectly, vibrant fabrics from home mixed with Korean minimalism, books everywhere, plants thriving in corners, art covering walls. This is you, he said, looking around. Completely you. I'm letting you into my actual life. Not just the boutique. My real space. I'm honored. You should be. I don't let people in easily. They moved through the evening with growing naturalness. She cooked dinner, jollof rice and Korean short ribs that made his heart sing. They talked about nothing important. Favorite movies, childhood memories, dreams deferred and dreams reimagined. When they finally moved to her bedroom, the intensity that always crackled between them was there, but gentler, less desperate. They undressed slowly, discovering each other without urgency. Ryan traced scars on her shoulder from a childhood accident in Lagos. She touched the faded marks on his ribs where the car had crushed him. We're both marked, she whispered. By survival. By living instead of just existing. Their lovemaking was slow, reverent, a conversation without words. Every touch communicated what language couldn't capture. When they finally came together, it felt less like passion and more like homecoming. Afterward, they lay tangled together, breathing synchronized, the world reduced to this room, this moment, this person. I love you, Ryan said into the darkness. I know I've said it before, but I need you to know I mean it. Not just intensity, not just healing. Love, the kind that survives boring. The kind that builds life instead of just surviving it. I love you too, Melanie replied. The terrifying, impossible, completely irrational kind of love. The kind I swore I'd never feel again. The kind that made me break every rule I made to protect myself. Regrets? None. Fears? Constantly. But no regrets. They fell asleep like that. Two people who'd found each other in darkness and chosen to step into light together. 3 months later, Melanie stood in African elegance, her phone pressed to her ear, laughing at something her sister said from Cape Town. Through the window, she could see Seoul's evening rush. People hurrying home. Lights beginning to glow. The door chimed. She looked up to see Ryan entering, and her heart still did that stupid flutter thing even after all these months. I have to go, she told her sister. Yes, he's here. No, you can't interrogate him yet. Love you too. Ryan crossed to her, pulling her into his arms. Your sister still doesn't trust me? She thinks you're going to break my heart and disappear into the criminal underworld, leaving me a shell of a woman. Dramatic. She's protective. I like her already. He kissed her forehead. Ready? For what? Dinner. I made reservations. You made reservations? At a restaurant? With other people? I'm trying this thing called normalcy. You said you wanted it. Melanie laughed, that sound he'd fallen in love with. Who are you and what have you done with Ryan Cho? He's learning that some complications are worth it. That some disasters create something perfect. That some falls end in flight instead of crash. Now who's getting poetic? I learned from the best. They walked out together into Seoul's glittering evening, hand in hand, two people who'd chosen each other despite every logical reason not to. Two disasters who'd proven that sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do is exactly what saves you.